Karibuni sana, karibuni nyote. Jamii pamoja na mimi nakaribisha tufurahi na tusome.
In Kenya and the rest of most of Africa, people think about the so-called megafauna and nothing is taught about bats. Bats are very important though. Bats are part and parcel of biodiversity.
Bats are everywhere. There's a reason why bats are everywhere in the world. It's because they found a place for themselves everywhere in the world. They eat the insects that come out at night. They eat the fruits that need to be dispersed by bats. They pollinate so many tree species that are now dependent on the bats for pollination. And they do it all at night. So we don't see this and we don't appreciate it. But essentially what birds do during the day, bats do at night. While bats go out and feed on insects and fruits, there's also other creatures that actually feed on bats. So bats are eaten by monitor lizards, bats are eaten by birds of prey. But none of that threatens the bats to the extent that they would go extinct. In our lifetime, humans are definitely the only species that pose an existential threat to bats because we change the landscapes at such rapid rates that there's no chance for these animals to adapt.
So we're at Kaboga Cave in Watamu in Kenya. Now, the cave is just down there. 6 meters in is the cave entrance. And this is one of the last 2 known caves of the endangered Hildegarde's tomb bats. When we came here a year ago, the wall that's just behind me didn't even exist, and the wall to the right was just starting to be constructed. And it just shows the rapid pace of development here. Blink and you can just lose sight. Hildegarde's tomb bat is an important zone right. If we lost this cave, we could easily see the end of this species. But it's not about Hildegarde's, it's about the wider landscape. Bats are a great bioindicator. If bat numbers are going down, you know that ecosystems are being degraded and wildlife in general is lower. And that impacts us. This project, it's much bigger than just one species. It's about all the species we can protect across this whole landscape and the communities that benefit from that as well.
So the 2 caves in the north, they're actually threatened by development. But where we work in the south at Fikirini with the Tswaka community, the problems there are a little bit different. So development there hasn't quite reached that far inland yet. So we don't seem to face the same development problems there. The problem at Fikirini is the community also needs a lot of trees to survive because trees are used as firewood, they're used as timber to build furniture. So actually the forest surrounding those caves has been decimated over the last decade. Working in Fikirini is finding a way for the community and the bats to co-survive. We spend a lot of time building trust with them. We wanted to make sure that anything that happens on their community land is in accordance with their wishes.
In the beginning, people didn't know the importance of birds. There's even a narrative that you see the birds were demons, this kind of stuff. When we got researchers who came and educated us on how important the birds are, now the attitude has really changed. Nobody is scared. We've seen the reality. We've told the reality now. Our community have changed from the negative to a positive.
As a community, we decided to conserve the area. It is a project we have started to plant trees, different species of trees, which are good food for birds. Lakini kwa sababu ya ule imani tulionayo kwamba popo ni wazuri na wanafaa kulindwa, wataongezeka na tutaweza pia kuongeza kipato kwa jamii, kwa sababu huu ni uchumi ambao tunautegemea siku zijazo tuweze kujikwamua kiuchumi. Tutakuwa tunapata maisha mazuri.
Most of the work we do is about education, empowerment, capacity building for these community groups. Basically, it's about raising a future conservation leaders. This project has enabled us to come closer to understanding how to integrate both conventional science and indigenous knowledge into promoting conservation of bats.
Very good question. What I love about bats, they are intriguing. There's lots to be discovered about bats. Bats are very diverse and little is known about them because they are nocturnal. Many people don't know about them and instead they view them in the lens of myth, misinformation and ignorance. And I thought, why are people so afraid of these animals?
One thing I like about bats is the spectacular nature of these animals when they're emerging. the sophisticated nature of how they communicate, how they navigate, and how they feed. Something that makes me get amazed about these animals.
Every time you walk into one of these caves in Kenya, suddenly everyone falls silent and there's this moment of awe. And I don't know what it is, but it seems to be something really, really internal for everyone, that you're able to look around to see the wonder that is these caves, and then you can take a step further and you look at the inhabitants of these caves, and then you just watch them live their lives. And for me, that's the greatest pleasure, is being able to watch animals live their lives undisturbed.
Conservation is a necessity because, especially in communities like this, we live off the land, and even people live in urban areas. Your food's got to come from somewhere. Your fresh water has to come from somewhere. If we don't protect landscapes, watersheds, not just the communities who live in these areas, but the wider communities as well, everyone is gonna suffer without healthy, functioning ecosystems. And this is a prime example here, just the hope you can see with that conservation often has a gloom and doom outlook to it, but what we're doing is we're giving people hope, and we're really helping restore people's livelihoods, not just for now, but for future generations.